Hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Leading Yourself podcast. On today's podcast episode, I'm going to talk to you about storytelling. Yes, storytelling. I know storytelling is a very trendy word, is a skill that is critical in many, many fields. But I'm going to talk to you today about the most important story that you've ever told in your life. And that is the story that you tell yourself. We're going to be talking about the stories that you tell yourself that are preventing you from becoming the best version of yourself. And those are your limiting beliefs. We're going to uncover what are limiting beliefs and how to overcome them. So let's dig into today's episode. Welcome to the Leading Yourself podcast. This is your host, Carolina de Arriba. I'm an HR professional, health and fitness coach, wife, mom, and above all things, a goal-getter. In this podcast, we're going to be digging into all things leadership, professional and career development, habits, and relationships. This is a podcast for those who want to become the best version of themselves. Those who have big dreams and are willing to embrace the journey and put in the work to achieve them. My goal is to share with you the tools, tips, and tricks to help you in your journey. So let's dig into today's episode. Most people go their entire lives operating from a set of beliefs that are not even theirs. Every day, we tell ourselves stories that hold us back. Those are our limiting beliefs. But what are beliefs, anyways? Beliefs are opinions, they're thought habits, they're stories that we tell ourselves to create a feeling of certainty. You know, our brains are designed to help us survive. That is the main function of our brain. Our primitive brain main mission is to keep us alive. So anytime that we feel any level of uncertainty, our brain tries to create certainty so it feels that it's safe. And that's how we create all these stories in our mind that we keep telling ourselves and that they feel factual and real, but they're really not. And those are our limiting beliefs. And I think this is a really important topic to talk about. Why? Because if we don't take the time to check our beliefs and make sure that they truly agree, that we agree with them, then let me tell you that they could be sabotaging your life, even without you noticing it. But where do these beliefs come from? Some come from our environment. Where did we grow up? The people that we interacted, the people from our school, church, the different environments in which we've lived throughout our lives. There are people who have grown in very adverse environments that you might think that as a result of those environments in which they live and grew up, they would never get to where they are today. Oprah is a great example. Nelson Mandela is a great example. Malala is a great example, right? They all were stronger than the cage that their environments put them in. And they set themselves free from those limiting beliefs. But our environments are one of the main sources of our limiting beliefs. The next place where these beliefs might be coming from is events that happen throughout our lives. The day that we get married, the day that we lost a loved one, the day that you got divorced or that your kids were born. All these big events in our lives that we are part of can be a source of belief. Some might be limiting, some might be empowering. The other source of limiting beliefs is knowledge. I know this one is a kind of contradictory a little bit because a lot of people believe that knowledge is power. The truth is, I at least believe that knowledge is only potential power. I've talked about this in previous podcast episodes. Only if we apply the knowledge, it becomes power. But when we get, as I was sharing in the previous episode, when I was talking about growing intentionally, if we keep consuming content, if we keep accumulating knowledge, that knowledge sometimes can create limiting beliefs. Let me prove you this. Think about a time where you heard someone that you respect, someone that is well known, that was maybe giving a speech about a particular topic on which before listening to this person, you might have had a different opinion around the topic. And after listening this person talking and sharing knowledge, you form a belief based on that knowledge. The next source of limiting beliefs is past results. Whether you've been successful or you failed in the past, when you go through an experience that created a result, positive or negative, you might form beliefs around the correlation between your actions and the output that you experience. And you associate that behavior or that way of acting or whatever you did to the result. And you believe that if you act the same way again, you will get the same results, which basically is creating a limiting belief. The other common source of limiting beliefs is conditioning. Conditioning basically is when you keep repeating the same stories over and over and over again, you end up believing those stories. And let me prove the point on this one as well. How many times you've gone to dinner with friends or to a social event and you've shared a story of a past experience. And as you're sharing the story, you might exaggerate a few things here and there. And the reaction of your friends or the people that you are with is that they're very engaged and they really feel empathy for you and sympathy for you. And that feels good. So the next time that you are with that same group or another different group, you exaggerate just a little bit more because it's rewarding the way that people react to the way you're telling the story, right? And if you keep doing this over time, you get to a point where every time that you tell the story, you can longer differentiate what is reality and what was just an exaggeration or something that you made up to make the story more interesting. And those things blend and you lose track of really what is the real story. This is a great example of conditioning. The last one is future vision. When we have an empowering vision of the future, that can create beliefs, most of the cases, not necessarily limiting beliefs, but empowering beliefs. And if you have a pessimistic view of the future, that may cause some limiting beliefs as well. So let's talk about how can we identify these limiting beliefs and more important, how can we overcome them? Because at the end of the day, our limiting beliefs are preventing us from pursuing our dreams, our goals, and ultimately becoming the best version of ourselves. Our limiting beliefs are the reasons why we don't even try doing something, or the reason why we give up on something because we believe that we're not capable, or that we're not good enough, or that we are failure. So Today, I want to share with you how can you identify those limiting beliefs, and most important, as I said, how can you overcome those limiting beliefs. So, what are your limiting beliefs? And the best way that I can think about to identify what might be those limiting beliefs is by asking yourself a series of questions. The first question is, what is one area of your life that is not where you would like it to be? What is one area in your life that is not where you would like it to be? Maybe it's your career, maybe it's your relationships, maybe it's your business, maybe is your marriage, maybe is your health. What is an area of your life that you think you would by now be further along that you are? Or an area where you feel that there's gaps or you feel a hole? Then ask yourself, why is that you haven't changed this part of your life already? If this is a part of your life that is not where you would like it to be, why haven't you changed it already? This is a really critical question. Now we are peeling the onion and we're getting deep into identifying what are those limiting beliefs. Once you are able to answer that question, why haven't you changed this part of your life already? Try to figure out, why do you believe that? Why do you believe that reason why you haven't changed already this area of your life? And then I'm going to teach you 3 different strategies that can help you overcome that limiting belief that you just identified. So, once again, to identify what might be existing limiting beliefs, you need to ask yourself 3 questions. Question number 1, what is one area of your life that is not what you would like it to be? Question number 2, why haven't you changed this part of your life already? And question number 3, why do you believe that? Now, let's try to again overcome that limiting belief. And I believe that there's 3 strategies that can help us overcome limiting beliefs. The first one is doubt. Doubt comes from the logical side of our brain. And we can use doubt to break down limiting beliefs by asking ourselves questions like, where does this belief come from? Is this belief based on my own experience, or is it someone else's? Is this even my own belief, or is someone else's belief that I have adopted? Maybe is your parents' belief and you just adopt that belief because you've been surrounded by your parents for your entire life, right? We talked about the environment is one of the sources of limiting beliefs. Maybe it's your best friend's belief and it's not yours. Maybe it's your partner's belief and it's not yours. So, where does this belief come from? Is this belief based on your own experience or is based on someone else's experience? And finally, and this one is key, is your belief a fact? Can you prove it? And most important, what evidence can you find to prove that your belief is wrong? Let's say that you say to yourself that you might have a very general belief that people that come from where you come cannot be successful. How can you prove, or how can you find evidence that will prove that wrong? Well, think about people that come from the same place that you come that are currently successful. Maybe you think that because you are a woman, you can't reach a certain level in the organization. Look around you. Find women that are exactly where you want to be. Whatever your limiting belief is, look for evidence that will prove that that belief is wrong. And if you try, I am 100% sure that you're going to find examples and evidence that is going to prove that belief wrong. The second strategy is pain. Pain, opposite from doubt, comes from the emotional side of the brain. When we think about the consequences of our beliefs, that can be super powerful. So ask yourself the following questions. Ask yourself, if you continue to believe what you believe today, how will that belief affect your life in 5 years from now? How about 10 years from now? How would your life look like in 5 or 10 years if you continue to believe in what you believe today? And then, if that is not enough, ask yourself, if you continue to believe what you believe today, how will that impact the people that you love in your life? How will you continuing to believe what you believe today impact your kids or your partner or your best friend in the future? See, pain is a powerful source to overcome limiting beliefs. And once you're able to see the pain that your limiting beliefs can cause in the future, is where strategy number 3 comes in. And that strategy is vision. You need to interrupt the pain and replace it with something that is empowering. And what is more empowering than a compelling vision of the future? So now ask yourself, if you were to believe the opposite of what your limiting beliefs are today, how would your future look like? How would your life look like in 5, 10 years from now? Imagine that you believe the opposite of what you believe today. Let's say that you believe that you are not capable of being successful. How would your life look like 5 or 10 years from now if you believe that you have everything that you need to be successful? Let's say that you believe that because you are a woman, you can be a CEO. How would your life look like if you believe that your gender had no impact whatsoever on your ability to become a CEO? See, that combination of pain and vision is super powerful. So, if we summarize what we have talked so far, the 5 steps to identify and overcome limiting beliefs are: number 1, ask yourself what area of your life is not where you would like it to be. Step number 2, ask yourself, why haven't you changed that part of your life already? Step number 3, figure out, why do you believe that? Why do you believe that to be true? Not that it's true, but in your mind it is. Step number 4, ask yourself, what will it happen if you don't change that belief? How would your life look like in 5 or 10 years from now if you don't change that belief? And finally, step number 5, replace that limiting belief with a new empowering belief. And a great way to do that is by finding evidence that will prove your belief wrong. Try to find examples where the opposite of what you believe can be true. And those are your 5 steps to identify and overcome your limiting beliefs. I hope this was helpful. I hope that you liked today's podcast episode. If you did, please head to Apple Podcasts and leave me a review. While you're there, make sure that you subscribe so you get notifications on any upcoming new podcast episodes. And finally, please share this episode with anyone that you think can benefit from today's content. With that, I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you here again for another episode of the Leading Yourself podcast.